Hey guys, welcome to Split. This is the Nothing Headphone 1. I've had them for over 8 months now, so the honeymoon phase is long gone. I've used them on buses, trains, planes, you name it. Areas with different sound profiles. And I've learned a lot about them. I'll tell you what I like about them and things you should be concerned about if you're considering buying these. Also, their approach to premium headphone design, which is not bad. Let's get into it. The word you hear get thrown around a lot is retro, in a cool kind of way. Nothing has stuck to its design philosophy with some of that transparent, lucent plastic area, but they've also thrown in an aluminium design for a premium feel, and it does feel good. So the combination gives you that retro cool vibe, especially if you're from the cassette tape era. And I can easily see how this design philosophy translated into what they're currently using now on the Nothing 4A Pro that has aluminum body with a window area for that translucent design. Also, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. Well, it's not light either at 329 grams, which is heavier than the Sony XM5 at 250 grams, 240, 250 thereabout. But they are significantly lighter than the AirPods Max, which comes in at 386 grams, and you do feel that difference. Regardless, the weight is well distributed. With the very plush TPU plastic and foam ear cups, you can easily wear this for hours. And I did, different situations, and I didn't feel that head clamp pressure over my ears. Well, at least for me anyway. Another thing I really appreciate is the IP52 rating for dust and water resistance. Why is this a big deal? Well, because most other over-ear flagships come with zero protection, meaning if you get caught in a light drizzle or sweating them at the gym, you are taking a risk with those very expensive flagship headphones. With the Headphone 1, at least you know exactly where you stand in terms of what it can and what it can't survive. Over the last 8 months, I've used this in various situations and it's held up pretty well. The plastic is not yellowing, not like it doesn't seem, and the aluminum hasn't scratched yet. So, looks pretty good. So the Headphone 1 did something, well, initially I thought it was weird. They just put in a bunch of buttons on the right ear cup, 5 to be exact. And I thought, that's a lot just for headphones. But over time, I realized it became very intuitive and just made a lot of sense. The buttons here do what they're supposed to do. You're not worried about one button doing 20 or 5 or 7 things. You have dedicated buttons for unique things, which kind of makes sense. For example, the power button is just that, the power button. You slide it on to power on with an indicator light showing you when it's on, and you slide it off to power off. The light also changes to indicate when you need to recharge it, but that's it. Doesn't do anything else. Other headphones I have, the power button tends to double as the Bluetooth button, so you're fiddling between turning it on and off or getting it into pairing mode, which can be annoying at times. There's the paddle, at least that's what they're calling it. This allows you to skip tracks back and forth, and depending on your media player, you can actually scrub through the tracks, which is helpful for audiobooks or podcasts when you're trying to hit that sweet spot in between tracks. There's also the roller, which is my favorite button. When you press it in, you can play or pause, or you can roll it back and forth or up and down to increase the volume depending on how you're laying. And it just feels great. Inside, when you're listening, it gives you this great tactile response to let you know that, hey, you're increasing or increasing the volume. That button also triples as if you hold it down, it turns on and off your active noise canceling. So switches between transparency mode and ANC. There's also a dedicated Bluetooth pairing button, which is very appreciated. Like I said earlier, you're not trying to figure out which button does what. This button just does that. It puts the headphones into pairing mode, so you just need to pair them when you press that. And then there's the button. That's what it's called in the app. See, right here, they call it the button. Very creative. You can use this to call up your assistant for those who still do that on headphones. Or set it to do other functions like preset EQ, which you've decided to put in your preference, or use it as a mic mute button. But it's called a button, so you could do whatever you want with it. One thing to note though, these headphones don't fold down like Bose, well, some Bose options, but the cups do flip downwards. So in case you wanted to wear them around your neck, they do look good, but they get attention, which is that one thing I'm talking about, but more on that later. The carrying case is also quite large, but it is very flat, so it slides into a decent part in your backpack. But again, keep in mind, it does take up quite a large surface area. But if you look closely, this is reminiscent of the ear, their in-ear design charging case with the dimple right there, which I thought is a nice touch. Okay, so let's talk about the main selling point of headphones. How do they sound? So on the body, you see that these are tuned by Kef, big name in audio and sound equipment, British brand, solid. And in here are 40mm drivers. So when I turned them on, the sound was meh. Really, it literally was meh. And which was shocking to me. They were kind of flat. Bass was borderline muddy. And I was like, what's going on here? Especially when you compare them to other flagships, which I was using at the time. I had a pair of Sonys, I had a pair of AirPods Max. Those just blew them out of the water, and this was supposed to be competing with those. However, since that time, there have been updates which quickly fine-tune the out-of-the-box tuning, as well as other options, which I think made this even more interesting. And those options live in the Nothing X app, which lets you basically import any sound configuration from all the audio files and engineers via a QR code to sort you out. So if you have someone you like who's a sound engineer on audio file that has a paramedic setting you love, they can just upload that to the Nothing community and you can import that via QR code and you're sorted. Or you can use the EQ yourself and fine tune everything on your own to the sound you like. Either way, that sort of fixes your problem and they sound great. They don't sound as great as the flagships, but it totally fixes that initial impression I had of them out of the box. So now they are one of my favorite audios to listen to with the sound I've imported from people who I adore their sound mixes. They also support LDAC for high-res streaming on Android, and they even support lossless audio over USB-C or 3.5mm wired connection, something the AirPod Max still struggles with natively. The active noise canceling also crosses the threshold for good. Not excellent, but good enough to block out low bass hums from engines and the likes, especially when listening to music. But when I listen to podcasts and audiobooks which don't have filler sounds constantly playing to mask the noise, you can easily hear people talking or high-pitched sounds in a subway or an airplane. As for the transparency mode, I think it's really good. Nothing really cooked with the sound you hear when it's time to activate transparency mode. It's like a breath of fresh air, like freedom. And it comes in natural audio. Sounds really good, in my opinion. The mic quality is perfectly fine, especially for Zoom calls or even over the phone. Most people couldn't tell that I wasn't holding the phone to my ear at the time. And battery life is pretty solid. You're looking at 35 hours with ANC on and a massive 80 hours with it off. In my over 8 months of testing, I find myself only charging these once every week or more and a half. And if you're in a rush, a 5-minute charge gets you about 5 hours of playback. So you're pretty much always ready to go. So about the other one thing I think it really fails at, which is not a technical thing, is the design is so striking that it defeats the purpose of privacy when you want to use this like on a plane or in a bus where you want your space. Because once you put them on, the guy beside you, or in most cases, someone is going to be like, what are those? And you're going to be like, oh, it's nothing. Like, don't be rude. Just tell me the brand. Like, no, really, the brand is nothing. Like, oh, cool. Where did you get? And that, you know. So they're really good at grabbing attention. Okay, bottom line, should you buy them? Based on everything I've experienced, the answer is a yes and no. Yes, if you're into the aesthetics and you want something striking that is out of the ordinary from your daily typical headphones you see everywhere, there is nothing I've seen that comes close to this design at that price point. Plus the sound thing I complain about is easily fixable with the EQ and just importing a sound profile from someone else. Will they sound as great as the flagships? Not exactly there, but they sound fantastic. No, if you are truly an audiophile. If sound over everything for you, then the design is secondary. I would say just fork out the extra cash, buy a flagship headphone, or don't fork out the extra cash and just go to a used marketplace and buy an older model of I almost said the AirPods Max, so they'll still cost a fortune. Maybe the XM5s, which would be about the same price point at this point and sound better, in my opinion anyway. Yeah, but they just won't look as striking. So figure out which side of the divide you fall onto. Personally, I think they were worth the money. Well, at least until I'm done doing my comparison with the new Headphone A, which is cheaper, has stronger battery life, has better Bluetooth codec, but you will lose out on some of that design, and I doubt it sounds as good as this does. But like I said, I'm still doing that review. I'll let you guys know. Also, sound off in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, a big thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed and is following and supporting the channel. Without you, we wouldn't be able to make this content we're making right now. We really appreciate that support. All the comments, both the yucky ones and the lovely ones. Thank you all. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.